All right, so we now have our Ubuntu 18.4 distro installed. So go ahead and click on your username, enter your password, and it may take just a minute for this to load up. But what we're going to do now is we're going to make sure that Python 3 is installed, which it should be with this Linux distribution. And we're also going to install an editor known as PyCharm CE or PyCharm Community Edition. If you happen to get a little error here, don't worry too much about it. That pops up just depending on a couple of things running on your machine. It functions perfectly fine whether or not that error appears, so don't worry too much there. All right, so now we have a loaded up desktop. Click on Show Applications. Type in Terminal. And we want to make sure we have Python 3.6 installed. So what you can do is you could just try to apt-get this. You can do apt-get install Python 3.6. But what happens when you do that? You get a permission denied error. So what you have to do when you're on Ubuntu, you have to be root or you have to sudo to install it. So we have to do that same command, but with sudo in front of it. So if you're not that familiar with the Linux command line, you can hit the up arrow and that'll retype what you just put in. And then you can hit Control A and that'll take you to the front. So type in sudo. Side note, you can hit Control E to take you to the end. Enter, type in your password. And in this case, yes, we do already have Python 3.6 installed. Now, normally when I want to just run Python, if it's already installed, I just type in Python. However, I typically do use a lot of like Python 2.7 or 2.4 still, just a lot of older legacy systems. That's what I have installed. When I type in Python, it'll load into those. In this case, as we don't have Python 2, it'll give you this nice little line here that says you have Python 3 installed. So type in Python 3. What that'll do is that will take you into the built-in Python IDE. So you're in here and you can start running Python. We don't need to do that right now. So what I want you to do is type in exit. That'll give you a little warning that says you have to type exit with brackets around it or Control D to get out. Cool. So we have Python 3.6 installed. So let's get PyCharm. Click back on Show Applications. And we want to go to the Ubuntu Software Center. Click on the search magnifying glass and type in PyCharm CE. That's the one we want. And go ahead and click on Install. Once again, put in your password. Take a couple of minutes for this to install. But having a graphical editor is, or at least an editor in your GUI does make it quite a bit easier. I do tend to get pretty old school at times when I'm working on a lot of systems, and I'll use Vim. Vim is my preferred editor, but if you're not familiar with Vim, it's really strange to use. There's a bunch of like archaic and cryptic keystrokes that you have to do. Like it's almost like muscle memory now that I use it. Like if you want to save something, it's like Control C, W, and then Q, exclamation to exit back out. It's kind of weird to try to talk about it. My hands just kind of do it when I'm editing in Vim, but no big deal. But now we have PyCharm CE installed. So you can click on launch and that should launch this. So you can start building out a little bit in there and see what this looks like. Before we start actually working on any code or exploring it, we do need to install a few other things too. There we go. And we don't really have any settings to import, so don't import. JetBrains, yes, I've read it. Continue. Don't send. It's up to you if you want to send your usage stats. I usually click on don't. Personal preference. Personally, I also like darker themes. I find them to be easier on the eyes when you're looking at things for a long time. Nope, let's just start using PyCharm. I'm going to actually close out of this software center right now. And it'll probably be taking a sec. Oh, there it is. PyCharm loading up. All right. So now that we have Python 3.6, we have PyCharm. We're going to do a few other things in the next video. We're going to install this helpful tool known as pip. See you in the next video.